Well, they contacted us, but I didn't feel ready. There was something inside, and even the thought of it made me nervous.
Oh, sweet, gentle breeze, you remind.
In the dim corners of online forums and comment threads, long before the headlines and the speculation channels, there was only a whisper, a small, almost forgettable comment left beneath a performance clip. Lucy Thomas auditioned for AGT. Why didn't they air it? Most people dismissed it. Talent shows archive thousands of auditions every season, and not all of them make the final cut. But within weeks, that whisper turned into a storm. Viewers began comparing dates, cross-checking schedules, dissecting grainy, unofficial clips that seemed more mysterious because they appeared from nowhere. Entire analysis videos surfaced, treating the topic like an unfolding newsroom investigation. And at the center of that quiet chaos stood a single name, Lucy Thomas, a young British vocalist surrounded by a calm precision that rarely appears in mainstream talent competitions. Her tone was almost too controlled, her emotional delivery unusually lived in for someone her age, and her rise impossibly fast. But behind every rumor is a reason, and behind every mystery is a story. And this one begins long before the speculation, long before the fan theories, long before a missing audition became one of the most discussed what-ifs in America's biggest talent show. To understand how the rumors spiraled into global fascination, we need to start at the beginning, with a young girl in Wigan and a voice that refused to sound like her age. Before the cameras, before the orchestras, before the millions of views, there was only dedication. Lucy Thomas was born in 2004, Wigan, England, a place known more for its working-class resilience than for producing classical-leaning vocalists. Yet even in childhood, something about Lucy's voice unsettled expectations. While most children experimented with melody the way they experimented with hobbies, Lucy approached singing like craft work. Early instructors noticed the steadiness of her tone, the control in her breath, and her instinct to place notes with unusual accuracy. Those close to her described her voice as preternaturally calm, as if she were shaping sound rather than simply singing. There were sacrifices most people never saw. Long evenings practicing classical techniques. Hours spent learning restraint, the art of holding back rather than pushing. The kind of training that usually develops only in conservatories, not living rooms. Quietly, without fanfare, she was building the foundation of a career she didn't even know she was preparing for. But the peaceful rehearsal rooms wouldn't stay peaceful forever, because soon a televised stage would pull her into a spotlight she wasn't fully prepared for, but handled with startling composure. And that moment would change everything. Her entrance onto The Voice Kids UK in 2018 wasn't just another audition. It felt like a shift, the arrival of a young singer who carried herself with the seriousness of an adult performer. At only 14, Lucy stood beneath the stage lights with a poise that caught viewers off guard. Even the judges, accustomed to young talent, reacted differently. Her tone didn't wobble, her pitch didn't drift. She delivered a level of control that seemed out of place for someone barely stepping into their teenage years. Week after week, she advanced, drawing attention from fans and local media outlets who wondered whether her ability belonged in an older category. She reached the semifinals, bowing out gracefully before the final round, but something lingered. People sensed this wasn't the peak, it was only the opening chapter. Behind the scenes, conversations began. Industry observers were already asking the real question: where does she go from here? The answer arrived quickly, because within months, a label reached out and Lucy's life took a new direction. Cavendish Records had been exploring young voices with classical leanings, but Lucy was different. Her blend of technique and emotional accessibility hinted at a rare crossover potential, the kind that appeals to both traditional music listeners and mainstream audiences. When she signed with them, it wasn't merely a milestone, it was a recalibration of her path. Her debut album, Premiere, revealed something unexpected: interpretive intelligence. Lucy approached iconic songs not with flashy runs or dramatic high notes, but with quiet strength. She sang like someone who understood that the power of a song often comes from its smallest details. Analysts noticed. Vocal coaches praised her restraint. Classical enthusiasts saw the makings of a future star in the crossover world. And while many teen singers fade after their first major moment, Lucy did the opposite. She accelerated. Her follow-up albums, Encore, Timeless, and Destiny, showcased increasing depth, more control, more maturity, and more intentionality. She wasn't chasing trends, she was crafting identity. But the biggest change wouldn't come from studios, labels, or industry circles. It would come from a simple upload button, and one performance that quietly altered the course of her career. When Lucy stepped onto YouTube, something unexpected happened. Her performances didn't simply gain views, they resonated. Her cover of Hallelujah wasn't just another rendition of a popular song, it felt cinematic, tender, deeply connected. Viewers described it as hearing a familiar classic through new emotional filters. Reaction channels began spreading her voice across continents. Vocal analysts broke down her control. Teachers highlighted her technique. Musicians praised her phrasing. Parents shared her songs with their children. There was no gimmick, no dramatic staging, just voice, emotion, and presence. Her following grew not through shock value or quick viral trends, but through consistency, the rare kind. And as more performances appeared, one question surfaced repeatedly. Why hasn't she appeared on America's biggest talent stage? Why hasn't AGT featured someone with this level of vocal precision? It was a harmless question at first, but then a single online comment sparked a conversation that would grow far beyond anything Lucy had planned. A rumor, a missing performance, a mystery the internet refused to let go. It began quietly. A comment here, a theory there, a vague reference to a recorded audition that never aired. Someone claimed they saw a clip. Someone else said they recognized her voice from a leaked soundbite. Soon, fans began connecting what they believed were dots. The rumor was simple. Lucy Thomas auditioned for America's Got Talent, and the performance was allegedly so strong, so season-shifting, that it was withheld from broadcast. There was no confirmation, no official statement, no public acknowledgement from AGT or Lucy. But the absence itself fueled speculation. Some argued that licensing issues played a role. Others believed her performance might have disrupted the season narrative, overshadowing other contestants. A few suggested scheduling conflicts or internal timing issues. Yet the theory that took hold, the dramatic one, was that the audition was too good, capable of reshaping the season's structure. Online discussions turned into investigations, frame-by-frame analysis, threads compiling timelines. Commentary channels treating the situation like a digital detective story. Soon, the rumor wasn't just a rumor, it became a phenomenon, and the aftermath reshaped everything. Strangely, it didn't matter whether the audition existed. The conversation itself ignited a surge of attention most artists only dream of. Lucy's subscriber count jumped. Older covers resurfaced on trending lists. Reaction channels filled timelines with rediscovered clips. Even her earliest recordings gained new waves of comments like, "Here after hearing about the AGT rumor," and "She would have taken the whole season." This wasn't just fandom, it was momentum. Media outlets noted the bizarre twist. An unseen audition was generating more buzz than an aired episode. Lucy's silence only amplified the intrigue. She neither confirmed nor denied the situation, allowing the audience to build their own narrative, a narrative that painted her as a quiet, overlooked powerhouse. In a digital era where perception spreads faster than fact, that narrative carried weight. But while the internet obsessed over what may or may not have happened, Lucy was focusing on something far more concrete: a stage, an orchestra, and a debut that would push her into an entirely new realm of legitimacy, far beyond any talent show. While the rumors spread across social media, Lucy stepped onto one of the most prestigious platforms in live performance, the West End. Her debut in 2024 was more than a milestone. It was proof of her artistic evolution. Backed by a full orchestra and surrounded by seasoned performers, she delivered a vocal presence that demanded recognition. This bookended the story of a TV contestant. This was the path of a musician. The contrast was striking. Online, millions were debating a missing audition. Offline, Lucy was building a legacy rooted in discipline, technique, and depth. Her more recent recordings reflected maturity, richer tone, more nuanced emotional shifts, and a confidence that cannot be manufactured by viral trends. The message was clear. Lucy Thomas was no longer an emerging talent. She was becoming an artist with long-term staying power. And the conversation around her rise sparked a broader question, one that reached far beyond her own story. The AGT rumor revealed a truth bigger than the audition itself. It showed that traditional talent shows no longer determine who becomes a star. The audience does. A single whisper, magnified by digital communities, sparked more attention than a fully produced televised season. The internet chose its own storyline, its own protagonist, and its own interpretation. Lucy became the center of a narrative she didn't create but benefited from. Her rise demonstrated how modern fame works. You don't need a network. You don't need a televised moment. You don't need confirmation. You only need a voice powerful enough to move people and a mystery compelling enough to keep them talking. But beneath the speculation and the viral intrigue lies the real story, the artist herself. Strip away the theories, the rumors, and the digital sleuthing, and what remains is Lucy, the young woman who built her career on discipline, emotional intelligence, and a kind of vocal sincerity that audiences feel instantly. Her journey wasn't shaped by controversy or sensational headlines. It was shaped by consistency, by a voice that doesn't rely on theatrics, and by a presence grounded in authenticity rather than spectacle. The AGT rumor didn't define her. It simply highlighted what was already true. She commands attention. And whether the missing audition ever existed may never matter. What matters is the lasting impression she leaves, a reminder that in an industry built on noise, sometimes the quietest voices resonate the loudest. Her story is still unfolding, her artistry is still developing, her momentum is still rising. And somewhere in the vast space between truth and speculation, a young singer continues to grow, untouched by chaos, guided only by music.